Well, Jalito, I'll tell you some Houston stuff going on right now here in H-Town. Popeyes, it happened this last week. Popeyes, a young man went to Popeyes, got himself some chicken. Went down, I guess either to sit down or went to eat a chicken, and there was a fried condom in his chicken. Oh my goodness. You know, and I don't know the mathematics of the whole thing. I know Quanell and Dr. Kenneth Matthews got involved and went to the KFC, camped out. Don't know what that proved. That's a weird case, because a latex condom, I'm pretty sure when you drop that into with some fried chicken into 300 degree 350 degree chicken grease, that little latex condom is going to shrivel up and disintegrate. It's this latex, and but yeah, man, that's just some crazy stuff. And now Quanell X got involved. I used to really like Quanell X. I thought he was really kind of a, back in the day, I thought he was kind of a stand-up, decent person. Him and another gentleman on I can't remember what station it was, 1326 Fox. I don't remember. What was his name? Dang it! I'll put it in the thing. They had a program where they would come up there in the evening time and they would debate a topic. And sometimes those debates got heated. I mean, I'm talking heated. But when this gentleman died, he had cancer and actually died. Quanell went to his funeral and everything, and it was a rather tearful, just kind of this reminiscing of their relationship. Even though on TV it was heated, often far apart from the issue center. They truly respected each other, and they really had a friendship. What's on TV sometimes is a lot of theatrics. So I really respected Quanell. I don't know much about Dr. Matthews, Kenneth Matthews. I'm not sure if she's really a doctor. She could be. But now they teamed up, and since I don't watch Quanell a lot, I don't follow him on social media. Ever so often, so will pop up, and he's a big community activist. Really, I'll say really popular. Some issues have come up in the past about money and exchanging hands and all that kind of stuff. That's a different story. But he's a large figure in the black community here in Houston. And Miss Matthews, same thing. She's a outspoken activist here in Houston. So they hopped on the bandwagon and went to the KFC and camped out. Now they were funny. Man, that's one liners out there talking about choking the KFC, talking about choking the chicken while you're crying the chicken. But anyway, somehow a foreign object landed in this young man's fried chicken. And I was just wondering, is it part of a glove? Is like a neoprene glove? Those I wear those neoprene gloves when I'm working my gun sometimes, because there's solvents and other chemicals involved cleaning them. Change oil. They're kind of made to resist heat. They're neoprene, it's not a latex. It's this type of material that is it's grease and solvent. You can spray solvents on it, and it won't melt them. You put a brake cleaner on a latex glove, it just melts. It just melts in half. So I'll put as many photos as I can of this chicken. I don't think there's many out there floating around. Just a few, one or two photos. I just don't see a condom as thin and fragile as a condom is. I don't see a condom being able to be dropped in a fryer with chicken, and then as long as chicken is fried to be cooked, 100% cooked at KFC or at Popeyes, I don't see a latex condom surviving that intact to be a recognizable, like, oh, that's a condom. I just don't see it. The neoprene gloves, maybe, because they can handle heat. I mean, you dump boiling water into a condom, it will melt and break. I mean, it's latex, But neoprene, those gloves they are made for high heats, solvents. Even if you get those little finger, I call them finger condoms. little finger protectors, the neoprene ones. They also, you know, unrolled, they look like a little condom, especially for your, you know, they look like little condoms. They can kind of hold heat. I'm not sure how high they can get. 300 degrees maybe, you know, prolonged in a grease. So don't know, but yeah, Quanell and Miss Matthews kind of camped out, and I kind of questioned the reasoning behind it, because I often say, again, I don't follow him constantly, but whenever he pops up, it's like this: when you're watching something happen, like water boil, ice melt. If you watch a person constantly social media feed all the time for years, you don't notice the change, because it's a gradual, slow change. But when you see, you know, when you put the water fire in the water, or throw the ice cube out the shelf, and you come back in 3 minutes, 4 minutes, you notice the changes, because you're not watching it, you're just noticing the changes. Over the years, I've noticed the change in Quanell, that he went from very respectable for the community, and now it's like, I don't know, it just, he seems a little more, I don't want to, a little more pettier maybe, is that the right word? I don't know. Again, I don't know Miss Matthews. I have nothing, you know, I've heard her. She comes dressed, you know, in cowboy hat and buckle and bling on her nails. Like she has money flowing. She dresses like she has money flowing in her life. Quanell, same thing. You know, his hair is always spot on. Entourage is security ain't cheap, so he has money flow in his life. But yeah, it just seems like he's kind of more gimmicky nowadays, and you know, just little petty things. And I know there was some issues in the past about people talk about that, you know, I have a, you know, something happened in my life and this was going on, and Quanell, can you look into it and everything, because Quanell is like Marvin Zindler here in Houston. Marvin Zindler was a kind of a news activist. Ever heard of a chicken ranch here in Houston, or here in Texas? Chicken ranch was a whorehouse. they had chicken, but they had more than chickens. But Marvin Zindler actually exposed, it was one of those best known secrets, I guess. I think there was 2 rival colleges here in Texas, A&M and maybe the Aggies. And from what I heard, the losing team would then pay the winning team the trip down to the chicken ranch. Yeah. So, in fact, Dolly Parton was in a movie called The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas or something. And but Marvin Zindler, he was known for being an activist, kind of, you know, low-key activist, but he exposed the chicken ranch and put it out of business, somewhat accidentally, but he put them out of business. He put it way out in the open. And so Quanell and Marvin Zindler was very, very similar in, you know, they were Houston, kind of Houston landmarks. Marvin Zindler died years ago, a few years back. And Quanell, yeah, he's like a Houston, I won't say icon, but he's kind of a, anyone in Houston, you mention the name Quanell X, they know him, they've seen him, they know him. He's a Houston staple. But over the years, yeah, he got a little more, just kind of more gimmicky. So did Marvin Zindler. He had a thing about slime and ice machine, and that was his catchphrase, because they did the restaurant reports every evening, and they would put these restaurant address, name of restaurant, and what was going on, roaches, rats, or slime in the ice machine. They would put them on blast on Channel 13 News, live TV. So he, oh yeah, Marvin Zindler kind of got gimmicky, a little more gimmicky also as he kind of went on. But if you had any problems, just calling Marvin Zindler and having him show up often fixed that problem. Same thing with Quanell X. Have any problems in the black community, sometimes him showing up, that problem got ironed out on its own. You know, and that's kind of you know people, you know, in the black community, you know, you need people like that. But again, in my opinion, this is only my opinion, over the years it seems like, you know, watching him kind of in phases over the years, it's kind of, he's now less for the people and more like, you know, this KFC. And my question is, you know, is he shaking down KFC for some money? He's not a lawyer, I don't think. I don't know if Miss Matthews, Dr. Matthews, I'm not sure if she's a lawyer or just, you know, I can go get a degree in psychology and call myself a doctor, I guess. You My neighbor calls himself Dr. J. Doctor. So I don't know about the credentials of these folks. But yeah, he has the power to change, do a lot of stuff in the black community here in Houston. And I just feel, I could be wrong. I don't know his life and circles and what's going on behind the scenes. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff going on that's not televised. But it just seems like over the years he just kind of, you know, a condom in a Popeye's chicken bucket now. That's his thing now. And also he's kind of teamed up with Miss Matthews, and she is kind of way over the top. Way over the top, where it's almost like Saturday Night Live, you know, Dave Chappelle. This one of the things, like, okay, is this a skit or is she serious? You know, because that's how over the top she is. You team her up with Mr. X, then to me, it kind of takes more credit away from him. You know, that's just me. But yeah, it's Popeyes. But that's the thing. You get junk in your food all the time. There's a book written years ago called The Jungle, and it was kind of exposing food factory practices in canneries and other mass food production industries. Talking about, you know, and talk about, you know, a percentage, or 1% or 2%, a percentage of the food that is produced has foreign objects. You know, hairs. You know, if you're getting chicken, it's 99.9999% chicken. But there is, you know, there's no way you can mass produce chicken, mass produce pork, without something falling into that processor. I heard too many times of people having KFC and Popeyes and other other fast food type places open that bucket up, and there's a chicken. Is that a rat? A whole fried rat, you know, breaded and everything. Which also is weird, because my impression is most fast food places like KFC, fast food is fast food. It's fast because it's cheap, and it's a lot of money for what you get. But also I've heard that KFC and Popeyes, they hand bread everything. So I don't know how you get a breaded hand breaded rat fried with the chicken. If you're hand breading it, you know that's a rat. You pick it up. And, you know, I don't know that. I don't know. But yeah, a small percentage of objects in our food are, you know, it's not chicken, it's not beef, it's hair, a roach, a fingernail clipping. I mean, you know, I've heard people, you know, getting food and having recalls because there's plastic pieces, because someone cut a bag open and a piece of plastic fell into it and it got chopped up, and now, you know, out of 1 million units sold, 40 or 50 units found pieces of plastic. So they got to recall the food. But to find a condom in your chicken. And the thing is, it looked like it was fried in the chicken. It wasn't like it was chicken and dumped in there. It was fried in the chicken. It was fried with it. So I don't think it was a condom. I think it was a neoprene glove, or one of these rubber gloves that you clean toilets with. Maybe somehow it got you know, cleaning process, something got in there. They throw the grease in there and they kicked it up there and started frying chicken all day long. And that was that one moment when they got that chicken up there and that thing went with it. And, you know, I imagine you get a rubber glove or even neoprene glove. If you do put it that kind of heat, it's going to shrivel and shrink. So maybe that rubber glove looks like a condom now. I don't know. I let the experts get the evidence, and they can analyze it and tell, yeah, that was a condom, or that was a glove, or that was a finger cot. I think it was called finger cots, finger condom. I let them figure all that out. I'm not expert. I'm just talking. Come on now. Please let you keep.